Mr. Investor Lot, welcome back to the channel, baby. Today we're going to be talking about our beloved bionano genomics. This is in different crayon saying my brain every time I hear welcome to Cytopia. Dum 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 doo 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 doo. As we can see, we have the bionano Rex in house. So I've been away for a little while. I've been finishing up my nursing studies. I actually had a really long assignment I had to complete with a deadline, so I smashed that out the way and now we're back on course. So how about a sneak peek? Well, today what I want to discuss is catalysts, including some huge upcoming events, as well as predictions on revenues and growth, global expansion and government funding, the next BNGO earnings date, all the different applications for bionano genomics, and some interesting connections. I also want to talk about growth in other markets. If you're new around here, my name is Miguel. We look for the biggest, juiciest growth stocks. As you can see below my head, we've been covering BNGO for quite a long time. I've been accumulating bionano genomics shares and I want to buy it as much as possible because I believe in the technology and I believe that this company has the power to disrupt genomics. So I was speaking to somebody who works within genomics and they believe also that bionano has the potential to replace the standard cytogenetic techniques. So before we begin, just remember, none of this is financial advice. It's for entertainment only. If you're able to support the channel, please click the join button and join any tier. But if you're unable to, just you hitting the like and clicking subscribe is enough for me. When we get to 10,000 subscribers, I can start to create like BNGO t-shirts or BNGO stuff like that, and it'll be really exciting to finally get to 10k. Thank you for all your love and support. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your guidance, and everybody who sends me little gems of information. I love y'all. Before we begin, best wishes to our BNGO whale Mark. He's currently in hospital. So he suffered a heart attack and we're waiting for him to have some open surgery. I was actually meant to be meeting him in London as well to film a video. So hope you get better soon, Mark. Best wishes. Now boys, I'm in this for the long run. Some of you guys have messaged me and you've said, Miguel, have you sold any BNGO shares? Like, where's the BNGO updates? I've just been busy studying, but I'm ready to dunk my balls on those haters. Shout out to MOM. So the first catalyst that I can see coming up is actually events, but this one will be a major catalyst too. The string of events are here. So Cancer Genomics Consortium is the nearest one, and we've actually posted a record number of posters and presentations. As you can see here, they list all of them, and they're going to be showing presentations regarding solid tumor analysis, blood cancers, prenatal genetics, products of conception, and postnatal. This research is from some of the top researchers from different affiliations around the world. We can see hospitals, universities, institutions, medical centers, and this is a nice big bright step towards getting more adoption, getting people aware of what you can possibly do with the bionano genomics saphyr machine. And people say, yeah, that's all fine, that's all dandy. Is this going to be affecting our sales? Well, before the bionano genomics saphyr system was adopted in South Africa, Joanne Kotze, the head of genetics at Indalo Bio, said that she was watching bionano genomics progress for years. So she was watching and waiting before she pulls the trigger, makes the purchase. So all of these events from around the world with the top scientists and the top researchers, all these presentations that are coming up could stand as evidence for people who are about to pull the trigger on bionano genomics and actually adopt bionano genomics saphyr so they can utilize it for their own applications. So the question is, during this earnings day, are we going to see some nice record breaking revenue? Are we going to beat the estimates? And I'm not too bullish and I'm not too bearish on it. I'm just seeing, will we fulfill the 150 systems by the end of the year? Because we've got a financial officer who left Tesla, so he knows the tricks of the trade of Tesla. He knows how to grow a company. He decided to leave Tesla and join bionano. And Tesla has a history of under promising and over delivering, so always beating those estimates. So the question is, will we see this in this earnings day, or will we have to wait to the end of the year to see, you know, some juicy revenues come in, some more sales? But what I want to see is, are we on track to having 150 systems installed by the end of the year? Because I know C19 is disrupting, there's more variants, people are going on and off the red and black list at the moment, so it's hard to travel, install and train up staff. Next, I want to look at chartmill. Sometimes I think that, you know, we get too caught up in the speculation in the short term of where the stock price is going to fly to. But ultimately, when you buy a company, when you buy a stock, you're buying into a business. And Chartmill is predicting an 8 out of 10 growth rating for bionano genomics. They're stating that over the next 5 years, BNGO revenues are going to show very strong growth, and it's going to be on average 85.48% year in revenue growth. So let's take a deeper look at their analysis. Well, the estimates below me, as you can see in the future, they're stating 1 year from now that the revenue growth is going to be 100.5% in the first year, and that 2 years from now it's then going to be 87.86% in revenue growth. Then at 3 years it will be 88.3% growth, and they skip year number 4 for some reason. But by the 5th year they're stating that it's going to be a further 85.48% growth then. Then on my right we've got the yearly revenue versus estimates, and they're stating that the growth in 2020, they stated the estimate was around about $8.1 million. They're estimating currently that the growth of revenue is going to then grow to $16.2 million this year. By 2022, it will be $28.6 million. 2023, it will be $54.2 million. And then we're really niche cut. And then we're nearly reaching 100 milli. By 2024, they're estimating $97.6 million in revenue. And then by 2025, $178 million in revenue. So while I was looking at these revenue growths, I was looking at factors, what could also help revenue growth? And it could be funding. So I was looking at genomic funding from different countries, and I wanted to see how much money they're putting into this. I came across the land down under, where kangaroos chill with beers. That's right, Australia. Hello, mate. Throw some shrimp on the barbie. So in Australia, they're putting $180 million towards medical research to improve the lives of Australians. And I wanted to see how much is going into genomics. So if we have a little scrolly and we go down, baby. So this was released on the 30th June 2021. This is the health.gov.au site. They're stating that they've invested $180 million into groundbreaking medical research projects around Australia to improve the lives of Australians and their loved ones. So 106 medical research projects will receive funding to improve health outcomes, including for Australians with cancer, dementia, brain injuries, heart problems. But I wanted to scroll down further. And in this paragraph here, we could see through the Genomics Health Futures mission, 17 researchers will receive a share of $46.5 million for genomics research, which will support health clinicians to identify genetic disorders and diagnose rare diseases faster, positioning Australia as a global leader in this area. So that's what they predominantly want to focus on, genetic disorders and fast diagnosis. The next paragraph then states that Australian researchers who are looking to research and fight against pediatric and childhood cancers will also receive around about $18.4 million. And this is to improve treatment, therapies and survival rates for Australian kids. As you guys know, leukemia is one of the most aggressive cancers, and it's something that we're currently being looked at where we could replace the current cytogenetic standards and become the gold standard for it. They also state in a table below, they show the different universities and how much money they'll be receiving and what they're going to be discovering in terms of research and what they're focusing on. Remember, with bionano genomics, we focus on cancer and we focus on rare disease at the moment. Here it states cancer remains the leading cause of death in Australia, and they are providing $21 million through 2020, improving diagnosis in cancers. So now great, Australia's getting some shmoney in, but is bionano genomics the sapphire in Australia? Oh yeah, you know what I had to do, baby. We had to go into some old files. When I say old, I'm just talking about September 2020. So on September 29th, 2020, we can see bionano genomics actually announced their global expansion as they reached across Eastern Europe and Australia. So when I was reading through this article, I wanted to see what Eric Holmlin thought about getting into Australia. The hospital that they actually managed to sell to is the Royal North Shore Hospital in Northern Sydney. So with Eric Holmlin's comments, he stated that the Royal North Shore Hospital is part of the national health system in Australia's most populous state, and therefore we believe that their adoption of sapphire is a key step to entering the Australian market. In the previous video, I showed you about the UK and how they're starting to warm towards newborn screening. On the government site, gov.uk, you can see a publication there, and it talks about the promise of delivering 500,000 whole genomes using whole genome sequencing and embedding this into routine care. So this July, they actually had a talk and the public warmed to it. They had a massive public dialogue where they got different people's opinions and they helped to break down, you know, some of the stereotypes behind genomic sequencing and actually provided insight into the benefits of newborn screening and how you can provide treatments and therapies earlier to help people. And while they're using whole genome sequencing, where does bionano genomics fit into all of this? Well, as a metric, we can see here the GeekWire article, it says that 75% of structural variants that are present in the person's genome are missed by whole genome sequencing. In Cytopia, structural variants have nowhere to hide. The sapphire can detect them all. So next I'm going to be talking about lobsters. Before I go into that, I'm going to talk about what's coming up next. I was looking through a brochure on Bionano Genomics website, looking at a sapphire brochure and just looking at all the different wide ranges of applications that the sapphire can be used for. And it took me to a quote from this person here, and then I explored that person and saw what they're up to, what they're currently a part of. It's very interesting, so please please stay around to the end of the video. But before we get into that, take a look at this. This was just in June 23rd, 2021, and it was a discovery regarding lobsters. So they finally sequenced the genome of the lobster, and the new data that they found was that most lobsters stay cancer-free. They can live up to 100 years in the wild, and during their life, they do not grow weaker in age and only rarely suffer from cancer. So now that researchers have actually researched and studied into their genome and produced the first high-quality draft of the lobster genome, we're now coming to understand a little bit more about the immune system of this lobster. And check out what this says here, that learning about that animal's immune system and the genomic stability may one day help answer fundamental questions about aging, not only in lobsters, but also in humans. And this is a crazy statistic. They said here that with humans, almost nearly 40% of all people will be diagnosed with cancer at some point of their life. I don't know about that statistic there, that sounds quite high. But they stated that in 60 years of research, there was only one credible case of tumor growth in an American lobster. I also follow the founder called Han Kao. This is the founder of bionano genomics. And he shared a video on how long until there's age reversal in humans. So a lot of people are actually studying mice, they're looking at the genetics of mice and also a particular protein. On the 1st of June 2021, apparently some Israeli scientists have extended mice's lives by 23% and humans could be next. This is apparently based off a protein called the SIRT6, a protein that normally wanes in the aging process. So SRT6 has an important role in physiological and pathological processes, regulating aging, cancer, obesity, insulin resistance, inflammation, and energy metabolism. As you guys may know, there's also been a lot of investment in proteomics, and I saw ARK Invest buying a lot of the ticker symbol QSI. Let's get back into bionano genomics, and before we get into the event, just remember that all these analysts state that there's a 95.91% upside at this moment in time. On average, it's $11.50 they're predicting for the 12 months for BNGO. All of them are rating BNGO as a strong buy, and on a high, they said we could see as high as $14 within 12 months. We also have to look at risks of bionano genomics. So on the left, on tip ranks, I found a new feature called risk factors, and I wanted to see what the analysts thought, or what this website thought of the risk of bionano genomics. What is their top risk? And scrolling down through bionano genomics risk factors, they stated that one of the biggest risks was the ability to sell. So the ability to sell here is the biggest risk for bionano genomics. Everything else from finance to tech and innovation to legal and regulatory, production problems, macro and political, they're stating that BNGO is probably safe with these risks according to their risk scale and score, but the ability to sell is probably the biggest risk. So when I went to the support page on bionano genomics, I was looking at the saphyr system and I just wanted to look into a brochure. Every time I think of bionano genomics, I'm looking at the bigger picture. So I'm looking at the wide range of applications in so many different fields, anything from agriculture to being a part of also genetic engineering studies, to obviously both our main markets in, undiagnosed genetic disorders. We're talking about solid tumor growth as well as blood cancers, and researching and understanding those markets, as well as exploring structural variations. There's so much we don't know about the body, there's so much we don't know about mutations still, and what they affect, which diseases they affect, how they affect our growth, our evolution. And also with all of these comorbidities, sicknesses, diseases, discovering genes and how genes work and how they are affected by mutations, understanding certain biomarkers and how we can affect them, and how we can create alternative treatments, therapies, medicines to actually improve certain conditions. When scrolling through this brochure, I just looked and found a quote. So this quote here led me to explore more about who this person is. The quote was, "We need research data on structural variants like bionano provides to ultimately help patients. It has the potential to change the way we diagnose diseases and eventually how we manage them." This is by a Dr. Rashmi Kanagal Shamana. So I searched them up. We can see they're from the MD Anderson Cancer Center, but what are they a part of? What are their experiences? We can see they're one of the board of directors of the Cancer Genomics Consortium, which is in a few days' time. The Cancer Genomics Consortium from the 1st of August to the 4th of August. And who is the president of this? The president of the Cancer Genomics Consortium is this lovely lady. So who is Yasmin Akari? Well, Yasmin Akari has previously presented using optical genome mapping to over 2,000 delegates from across the globe. This was actually at the beginning of July, and she presented optical genome mapping alongside Dr. Alka Chaubey. And Dr. Akari was actually exploring AML, so that's acute myelogenous leukemia. With going to all of these events and presenting, we're doing the right thing, also giving our machine and letting people explore. So 2,000 people were able to tune in to the International Conference of the Board of Genetic Counseling in India, seeing the discovery from top researchers. How many of them do you think are going to buy a saphyr machine to explore themselves in their respective industries? I went to bionano genomics LinkedIn and I wanted to see who liked the most recent posts. I saw about a week ago we posted about optical genome mapping. This was also based off leukemia, and I went down and I just looked at some of the individuals that liked this. I came across this man, and oh man, what a man. So Amith Oman, if we scroll down to the bottom, we can see he works for Imperial Life Sciences Limited. He's the National Service Manager. And what do these guys do? If we go to Imperial Life Sciences website, if we scroll down and look at their products and what they currently offer, we can see that they are a distributing partner for the Saphyr. Only Saphyr reveals the critical structural variants you're missing. I then wanted to figure out who do they partner with. So I looked at all of the different partners they have. They got some big boys in here. They got Nanostring Technologies, they've got Oxford Nanopore, Thermo Fisher Scientific, bionano genomics, baby. They also have MGI from over in China and PerkinElmer. Then I wanted to see what they listed Saphyr being useful for. So I wanted to look at the applications and the use cases. And in their list of applications, we can see cancer. So Imperial Life Science is actually a biotechnology company in Gurgaon, India. And so I wanted to explore cancer in India. So according to the World Health Organization, cancer is the second leading cause of death globally. And I popped onto Twitter and I found that the Global Cancer Observatory found that cancer will actually rise. So they expect the global burden of cancer to rise to 28.4 million cancer cases in 2040. So they're stating that this is going to be a 47% increase from 19.3 million cases in 2020. So we can see here, this is the current amount of people with cancer, or the current cancer cases in black. And the blue that you see here on the right is the ones that we're going to see the additionals by 2040. So then I was looking at the death rate and cancer cases within India itself. And I saw that the World Cancer Report said that the estimated cancer burden in India in 2018, there was about 1.16 million new cancer cases, 784,000 deaths, and 2.26 million 5-year prevalent cases in India's population of 1.3 billion. I then found myself looking at NHS Scotland Laboratory Genetic Services, and I wanted to see their latest research on genomics and look at the literature surrounding it. And if you pop open the NHS Scotland 2020 Clinical Genome Analysis Evidence Review, if you go to page 60, damn, that's a lot of scrolling, baby. On page 60, Scotland actually recognizes bionano genomics, so they say bionano technologies. They stated in 2017, bionano technologies released the saphyr genome imaging instrument. They spoke about short-read next-generation technologies that have many advantages, but these technologies are limited, including their ability to correctly identify repetitive regions, structural variations, and chromosome rearrangements. So they stated that rather than offering an alternative to sequencing technologies listed above, which we may do if we get that nano nozzle or if we acquire a next generation sequencer, the Saphyr system represents an alternative to the current cytogenetic techniques such as karyotyping. And when we scroll down, I wanted to see what was their kind of issues surrounding optical genome mapping. Well, they believe that it's particularly useful for all of the traditional cytogenetic methods, karyotyping, fish, southern blotting, and how it can replace these techniques. And they also stated that the studies generally suggest concordance with all of these kind of gold standard conventional techniques. But at that time in 2020, they stated that there wasn't enough peer-reviewed journals and studies. They said the studies were few in number. So although the potential is really great, they needed to see more evidence. And remember, this one in particular was in 2020, right? This is exactly why we always go to all of these different events. We let people present with our machine. So we have all of these different researchers working on different applications, showing the wide range and use of applications for the technology. So finally, let's look at the market opportunity that they've stated. They stated that the total addressable market, although they've stated it could be, between $2.6 billion to $3.8 billion based on selling 10,000 Saphyr systems. Let's look at what they previously said. So in a previous SEC filing, we can see that the market opportunity that they presented shows that the worldwide market for genomic products and services is expected to reach $54.4 billion by 2025. This is approximately up from $22.7 billion in 2020, representing a compounded annual growth rate of 19%. When they talked about a total addressable opportunity for them, they expect to sell up to approximately 9,500 Saphyr systems. So I think as time's gone on now, they're seeing an extra 500 systems. We may even see more come in place where they're saying, you know what, the opportunity is growing even more to be one-to-one with sequences. And now, how much will this system make us? How much will a single Saphyr bring in? They stated that they believe that each Saphyr instrument has the potential to create a reoccurring revenue in the range of around $60,000 to $150,000 per year. $150,000 per year. So if we take that figure with the 10,000 that they have right now, this is $1.5 billion per year just in reoccurring revenue from the 10,000 Saphyr systems. But that's currently with the kind of applications that they're looking at. A lot of applications have yet to be built out yet, which is what Eric Holmlin was talking about before. There's so much to study in terms of not only genetic evolution and biology, but also to study within agriculture. I'm telling you agriculture every single time because this is going to be huge. We need to feed the world. We need to become more efficient as well. One of our partners, Corteva Agriscience, is unveiling these new herbicides. They're consistently researching, but they want to build and have almost the best kind of crop protection they can, as well as also having a seed business. And look at this next one. Chinese scientists have actually had a breakthrough with seeds. So for potato breeding and potato seeds in general, they've stated that in order to get a decent yield, it takes 200 kilograms of seed potatoes. But now, because of genomics and innovation, they only need 2 grams of potato seeds, not 200 kilograms, only 2 grams. So this greatly reduces the planting costs. In terms of bionanogenomics, the total addressable market has not even been built out yet because there's so many different applications that people have not even discovered.
Optical genome mapping, and it focuses on identifying genome structure and genome structural variation. So when you think about sequence changing and having that drive certain health and biological effects, the structure of the genome can change in the same way, and we'll talk about that in another couple of slides. Now,
so when they're talking also about optical genome mapping and the kind of potential it has, not only do we have newborn screening starting to come across the world where people are seeing the benefits of actually screening the babies to make sure they can provide earlier access to treatments, but also precision medicine, population genetics, reproductive health for women, solid tumor diagnosis. And one of the ones that was particularly interesting is this slide here. He talks about total addressable market expansion, including solid tumor analysis, the screening, liquid biopsies as well, population genetics. And what is the economic moat that bionanogenomics has? Sequencers can't reliably detect structural variations is what they're stating here. So in this slide, the ones here we can see, he's put Illumina, PacBio, Oxford Nanopore. None of them sequencers can't reliably detect structural variations. When we're also looking at the target, the installed base of 150 systems, potentially a 50% increase over year end of 2020. I think we may even beat this estimate.
For us, solid tumor analysis is a big area. All forms of screening, newborn screening, a lot of fertility screening, parents considering pregnancy, liquid biopsy. We know a lot about the liquid biopsy that's going on in the world today. Every positive test is going to need a reflex diagnostic test, and those are likely to be structural variations. And so our optical genome mapping approach is going to be very good at it. And same thing in population genetics. If you're searching through populations to discover what makes them unique, what might be different indications of disease susceptibility, you're going to want to do a genome structure analysis. So we believe that the near-term market is in the few $1 billion range, but the broader market is even significantly bigger. Now, I've been talking to you a lot about...
And actually looking at agrigenomics too, you can see that the estimate for agrigenomics is 19.37 billion by 2026. Cytopia is coming. I believe that we've got a beautiful economic moat at the moment. I personally am not aware of any other companies that are doing optical genome mapping, our specific technique that can reveal as much information that we can reveal, particularly with regards to structural variations, where 75% of structural variations are missed by whole genome sequencing. And people always ask me, what are my near-term predictions for bionanogenomics? I'm long-term. I'm not going to sell this for 5 to 8 years. I'm going to be holding on to this. I may even hold on longer because I can see the true potential of what this means for humanity and also for my pockets. I believe that this company is going to be a huge company in the future. I believe even the analysis on chartmill is talking about 85%, revenue growth. I believe that this kind of explosive growth that they're talking about, this one is also just a fair estimate, because if we manage to do what I think the technology is able to do in all these different fields, all these different industries, so many different applications that haven't even been developed yet, I believe we could see a lot more revenue. Previously, I told you guys as well that I've invested in Occidental Petroleum. I really like the company and I believe it's going to turn into an effective carbon management company in the future. But I am considering taking some profits on the oil play. I was up about 48% just so I can continue to buy more bionanogenomics, because I haven't built out a full position. I want to continue buying this company as well as Nano Dimension and Palantir. So I've got an absolute banger of a video. It's a small insightful video about the kind of history of where bionanogenomics has come from and the kind of the vision behind what bionanogenomics is and what it could become. So thank you very much for watching. Always remember, none of this is financial advice, and if you're able to support the channel, please click the join button above my head. But if you're unable to, please hit the like and click subscribe and drop me some comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it valuable and entertaining, and I want to tell you guys I'm here for the long run. I see some comments saying, oh, where's Mr. Investor? I was studying, man. I'm sorry. I had to finish my studies. I had to finish my assignment, but I'm always going to be looking for gems of information I can share with you guys. I wish you the very best. best. Tell me your plans. Let me know if you're in for bionano genomics for a long time. Let me know if you're going to swing trade it. Let me know your averages. If you're building out your position further, let me know what you think. As always, I wish you the best. Mr. Investor, over and out, baby.